Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Portelles, and for today's video, we have a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. And this one, we have a very special guest because for the very first time, I have a reigning queen on my channel. I'm talking about Miss Naelah Alshorbaji, representing Paraneke City. This girl is such a beautiful person, but also such a smart candidate. And I'm really excited for you to discover the conversation that we had during our interview. In my opinion, trying to create an Earth which is balanced and safe during a time of international calamities is not an easy feat. Thankfully, the environment-driven national competition has just crowned the new Miss Earth Philippines tonight. Naelah Alshorbaji will let you know what she has in store. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I will meet you with Naelah right after the intro. Be strong. Welcome to a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks, everyone. And just like I promised, here you have my beautiful guest, Naelah Alshorbaji. How are you doing, my dear?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I've been wanting to go here even when I was still a candidate. It's so surreal that I came here after I won. So I was actually asking my PR personnel to message you, hopefully to get a booking, but at least we have it now.
Oh my God, you're so sweet. No need for that because I was already going to message you. Like I had you on my radar for a long time. But yeah, especially now that you are the official winner of the Miss Philippines Earth 2021 edition, just wanted to give you like a big congratulations because girl, you did that. Can you tell me what was your mindset as the announcement was being made for the winner of the pageant? What was going through your mind at that point?
Funny thing is, they didn't tell us what was going to go on that night. They didn't say if we're going to win or not. They just said, hey, show up in a gown, get ready, doll up. They didn't say it was question and answer. So I was like, okay. So I got dolled up, and then we had a Zoom meeting, and then they said, congratulations, you're in the top 10. I was like, okay. And then they gave me my question, and then they said, okay, wait. So I thought this would be done, and then we just video another day for the finals. Mm-hmm. And then they called me back in, and they said, when they called me back in, I was actually waiting for another question for top 5. So I was actually anxious. So I was standing there, and they said, Naelah Alshorbaji, are you ready? And I said, yes, I'm ready. And then I was like, oh my God, what kind of question are they going to ask me? What's going to happen? And they said, congratulations, you won. I was like,
oh my God.
And then you looked at my face, it was super authentic. I was literally sobbing, and if you are murmuring at the back, and I said, oh my God, I'm freaking out right now.
I know, right? I can only imagine like so many things going through your mind, and especially because this was a virtual pageant, right? So you were like by yourself at that point, or did you have like people with you?
I had people outside the room waiting to see what was happening. I just had my team, my makeup artist, my stylist, and the videographer. So it was a very secluded team. It wasn't like an entire city, but it was very wholesome, and it was nice that I had them by my side.
Oh, absolutely. And well, congrats to you because you definitely deserve it. You were so consistent from beginning to end, and you had so much to offer, so much substance, so much beauty as well.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh my God, I want to take you dinner now.
Let's go.
Come visit the Philippines. I'll take you around.
It's gonna happen next year for sure. But it's safe for everyone. I would love to visit. That will be one on my bucket list.
Yeah, all the girls you've interviewed will all be waiting for you in the airport.
There's gonna be a line at this point. All right, Naelah. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience during the Miss Philippines Earth pageant? Because I feel like your situation is quite unique, Not only you won a virtual pageant, but also in the middle of a pandemic. So how would you describe your journey so far?
I want to say a lot of positive things, but the only thing that comes to my mind is pure exhaustion. I really thought that if it would be an online pageant, it would be less difficult compared to the traditional pageant. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, it's not. It's more expensive. It's more time consuming. Not only do you have to train, but you have to set up your entire videography team. And then usually after training, you only have a few days where you perform on stage, and then they have your judging. But this one, you constantly have different days. You don't just perform one time and then you go home. You have to constantly perform for hours until you get the right shot. And then that's when you're done. So that was the problem. I really came in thinking like, oh, this is just going to be virtual. It's going to be fine. I mean, I do modeling. It's my job to shoot. But then I didn't realize how exhausting it would be. But I love the experience. I learned so much with it.
Yes, honestly, this is something that I have mentioned to even like other Miss Philippines Earth candidates is that props to you girls. Oh my God, the amount of work, effort, money, planning, scheduling, like organizing the entire thing for, like you said, like videography, but also coming up with the photo shoots and, the gowns. And there were so many challenges. In my opinion, the Miss Philippines Earth pageant is one of the most challenging because there's just like so much to do. So I can
I don't
totally
think a lot of people realize that actually, honestly, but it's nice that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to you girls. You're doing like the absolute most, and we love it. We are supporting 100%.
For that, truly love you.
Oh, was there a moment that made you feel like maybe that made you suspect that maybe you had this in the bag that okay, I might be the winner after all, like, or was it like a complete surprise for you at the end of it?
I was completely surprised. I mean, I was considered one of the front runners, and then a lot of people thought that would give me confidence. But
Yeah,
the problem is you had all your eyes, like all the eyes were centered on you. They were
yeah,
constantly checking if you were messing up. They were constantly commenting on the things that I was doing because I was under the radar. So
yeah,
there was immense amount of pressure. They said, "You got this in the bag, Naelah. This is yours. This crown is yours." But to me, in my heart, like this is what I want, but is it for me? Am I going to be good enough for this? It was never a sure ball in my head, but it was more, I hope to God that it is. But if it's not, it's okay. I just hope that the person who wins is good for the environment and actually cares for the people, because that's what matters the most.
I can imagine how it was like a little difficult, because uh, there's so many candidates with a lot of potential and a lot of, substance and things that they can bring to the table. But like I was saying earlier, you deserved it. You worked hard for it and you were consistent from beginning to end. So
Thank you
we
so
stand.
much.
We love you, Queen.
Yeah,
So
there were so many girls there that just wowed me with their personality, with the way that they were speaking. It was really interesting because I didn't think, this is my personal opinion, I didn't think that a lot of people would be good speakers, but the entirety of Miss Earth, like all the candidates just knew what they wanted and they wanted to bring it out. And I was like, I am so proud of this batch.
yeah.
They consider this batch the strongest batch in Miss Earth Philippines history.
Yes, I can definitely see why. Doing my interviews, but also just like watching the videos on the Miss Philippines Earth YouTube channel, Facebook page, and all of that. It was like from beginning to end, I was like in awe, like these girls can communicate. Besides the fact that they're like gorgeous, but they also have the communication skills and very, very pure, objectives and advocacies as well. So yeah, that was really cool to watch.
You
So
enjoy it.
yeah, it was a journey for sure, a learning experience. Something that I noticed about you is that from the beginning of the pageant, if I'm not mistaken, on all or almost all of your challenges, you were wearing the color green. Was this on purpose?
Actually, in the start of the pageant, Miss Earth always has this kind of event where each year they have something new that they add to the pageant.
Mhm.
This year, you had to choose your main color. So mine was fun green.
Okay.
But the problem was, I thought that you have to wear green the entire pageant, but you have to wear green, but it could also be just green earrings, green embroidery, and I was like, green everything. Let's just put
Really?
it all green.
Wow. Okay, I see. But that gave you like in my opinion, like it gave you like a concept, like you already knew like whenever the challenges were announced and like we were waiting for the live streams and all, we knew okay, she's gonna bring like the green color
Green.
today. It's gonna be Earth themed. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
So
also why, because I told myself, I'm like, I imagined to myself when I started, I was like, if there's somebody, or if somebody were to win Miss Earth, I don't know why, but it needs to be green. I'm obviously because it has the word Earth in it.
yeah, definitely very on brand. So when it comes to your pageantry like experience, you're only 23 years old, right?
Yeah.
You are such a baby. I can be your grandpa. Wow. You have already competed in both Miss Manila and Miss Paraneke, right? What made you want to take the next step and compete, go from a local pageant to a national pageant?
I was actually going for local pageants to practice for national pageants. I've always been aiming for the Miss Earth crown because it's something that I resonate with the most. For the longest time, I've always like my dream. When I look at myself 5, 10 years from now, I've always wanted to have my own sustainable farm. I love farm animals. I love growing. I love taking care of the environment. I feel like I'm a very loving person. And I feel that Miss Earth kind of embodies that kind of personality. So ever since I looked at Miss Earth, I'm like, this is the crown that I really want. And now that I have it, I'm like, I can't believe that I have it. I mean, it's not everybody gets to have their dreams come true. And I'm more than privileged. I'm very honored that I have it.
Oh, that's so inspiring. Was there a moment right after, let's say, like your local pageants that you felt, what was it that made you feel ready at that point? Told you, okay, now I can go for the national one.
I think when I won Miss Parañaque, I don't think any single pageant made me feel like I was exactly ready, but it did prepare me to a certain extent. But in Miss Earth, I really had to give it my all, my 120%, because I've never actually practiced with a camp prior to the national pageant. Everything else was just practice at home, something I just tried out with my handler, but I never had proper training before. So this is my first time. That's why I'm kind of shocked that everything happened so quickly, so abruptly, and it's shocking. So still don't know how to absorb everything.
That's so remarkable, to be honest. The fact that you were able to transition so easily from, from local to national. Sometimes, like girls, doesn't matter like how beautiful they are, how talented, how all of the things that they can do. Sometimes it takes like a few trials. They have to join the pageant like a few times and learn from it, and then finally they get it. But you were able to do it, girl, like in one take, and it was amazing from beginning to end. So once again, props to you.
Too sweet, you're too much. You're making me blush.
That's the goal. All right. So you actually have a mixed background, right? If I'm not mistaken, you're half Syrian, half Filipino, right? Were you born in the Philippines or in Syria?
I was born in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah.
Okay. All right.
And then I moved half my life to Syria. So I was there for around 11 years. And then I moved here afterwards.
Okay, I see. From what I understand, you moved to the Philippines because of the situation in Syria, what was going on with the civil war. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. It was starting to have civil war. It was just the beginning of civil war when I was still in Syria. I actually used to live right beside the president's house, and there was constant, not exactly riots, but there was constant protesting outside. It was very noisy. Sometimes my bed would bounce. It would be very scary at times. So yeah, we were able to leave prior to everything happening. And I thank God because when I went back, the situation there is quite scary. There's no progression within the city. I came back after 6 years and there was nothing new. And it's just constant broken buildings. We actually have property in Syria that's completely flattened. Like our entire farm is flattened by the bombs. So that's sorry, I didn't mean to like
no,
bring
no,
it
no.
on.
No, it's actually, the reason why I ask you these questions is because I want people to listen to your background, because sometimes we tend to look at the beauty queens and like the shiny part of it, like, like the beautiful side of the story. But it's important to acknowledge that sometimes we go through hardships in life, and we go through certain situations that force us to grow and become like stronger people. And I feel like this is definitely something about you that is very particular, because not a lot of people have been in that position. So I want you to talk about your story openly, and it doesn't matter if the interview at some point goes like a little bit more positive or a little more like on darker subjects. It's all good. So what would you say was the biggest change, something that you noticed when you moved from Syria to the Philippines? What was that transition like for you?
The transition from moving to an Arab country towards a Filipino country was very difficult for me at first.
Mhm.
Going to school, I was made fun of for not only my name but the way that I looked. I was very insecure when I was younger. I even had teachers make fun of my religion and make fun of my eyebrows because I'm naturally born with dark eyebrows.
Yeah.
So it was a big struggle, but I was adjusting so far. So my issue is that a lot of people like me who are half Filipino or half another country, we feel like nomads.
Yeah.
We are one half of a country, but we don't feel whole in a certain country, and that's the problem. It feels like we don't belong anywhere. But my heart is I am a whole of both. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that kind of sucks.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds. That's how I look at it, honestly. Like you get
Yeah.
to have like this very rich mix of cultures and heritage at the same time, because when you're a mixed baby, you get to incorporate those elements and kind of like build your own identity with that, opposed to just being like given like this is your nationality, this is what you
This
are.
is you.
Yeah, sometimes it
Yeah,
takes
but
a while to kind of realize that and accept it, because like you say, especially like in the early years, kids can be quite cruel sometimes, because they don't understand, but eventually when you grow up, it becomes like a strength, in my opinion.
a strength to a certain extent. I completely agree with you, but sometimes I do believe that it bridges the gap between the two countries, the two religions, so that you can help people understand the difference. But at the same time, there would be conversations, for example, me to people in Syria, me to people in the Philippines. We would have topics and they say, oh, it's because you're not really Filipino. And I'd
Oh,
be like, what do you mean? Like, I am Filipino. And they're like, no, because you have something else. So you're not actually Filipino. And I'm like, I am Filipino. I'm full Filipino, full Syrian. Let's just do that.
exactly, that part. Yeah, for sure there will always be like people who might give you some pushback and all of that, but keep in mind that it doesn't change who you are, it doesn't change your background and what you're capable of, so no one can take that away from you, girl.
Rock it. I love it.
So precisely because you went through this very, challenging situation and having to change countries, all of this, right? So right now there's a lot of issues happening around the world. There's like earthquakes in Haiti, the situation in Afghanistan, fires in Belgium. As a survivor yourself, what is your message to those going through these struggles right now?
My message to the people who are going through the struggles, I know that mentally it's difficult to go through something like this. There's so much negativity around you. You don't know how to solve these kind of problems because they're out of your hand. But hopefully you find a way within yourself mentally to separate it from you, to know that just because it's happening to you doesn't mean that you have to really absorb the things that are going around, and try to find a safe space within your mental space, like your mental health. Understand that that's the key to going through anything that's difficult. Just be in a proper headspace.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's talk a little bit about the competition right now. So the entire journey of the Miss Philippines Earth experience. So in my opinion, this year there were a lot of worthy candidates. But however, like you had a very well-deserved win, like we were saying earlier. What is your message to those who didn't make it till the end, to the candidates?
I just want to tell the candidates that I was just lucky. I feel like it could have been any one of them, because honestly, there's so many girls there that I was inspired by. And the thing about Miss Earth is you can't really lie about your heart. It's
Yeah.
there. People feel it. People feel your advocacy. They know your passion. And I saw all of these girls and I'm like, oh my goodness, they do have something. They have a purpose and they wanted to show it to their world. So it may not be your year, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to win. And just because you didn't win,
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's a loss. You learned how to be better. You learned how to handle these things. And if I could give you a piece of my crown, honey, I would. Sweetie, I
Oh.
really would. Because I feel every one of these girls deserve it. And honestly, when I was in the pageant, I was looking around. I was like, I want a piece of her. She's so amazing. I want to learn this from her. Even my co-winners, I always talk to them. I'm like, you're so amazing. I want to learn from you. I feel like I could learn so much. You are so good at speaking. You're so good at walking. I just want to embed all of this and just be the best version of myself through all of you.
That's such a positive message. I love it because, in my opinion, pageants, although it's a competition, right? At the end of the day, it's still a sisterhood to a certain extent.
Exactly.
And it's just like a group of girls with so much potential, that if I ever was to find myself in a similar situation, I will be trying to like learn as much as possible from everyone and just enjoy the experience to the fullest. So I'm really glad that you have this perspective about it. um so which part of the competition did you find the most challenging and why?
The part of the competition that I found most challenging was actually the last long gown competition because I had to shoot it twice.
Oh,
I wasn't satisfied with the first one, and honestly wasn't super satisfied with the second one.
okay.
My makeup artist got sick, so I wasn't confident with the makeup that was done on me, and I was constantly anxious because here in the Philippines, if you're outside, it's so hot, and if you're wearing a gown, you're just sweating profusely.
Oh my God.
And that's what was happening during my shoot for that. So I was like, oh my goodness, I hope this is my final long gown. And I thought that I was going to lose because of that gown.
Because of that, yeah.
Not the
Oh,
gown itself, but what happened there.
I feel like you definitely did well, and sometimes we have like these challenges that are thrown at us that you have to just be out of your comfort zone and work with what you got. And that I feel like that's what you did. You made lemonade with the lemons that you were given. So
I made lemonade.
yeah.
I got the cards that life gave me, and I just try to use it to my benefit.
Absolutely. So what is something, if you look back at this entire experience, right, in retrospective, what is something that you learned from this pageant?
Something I learned during this pageant is how to pace myself.
Mhm.
You're constantly running, you're constantly doing errands, and you don't have a time to think about your well being, your mental health. So during this pageant, I taught and I learned to myself how to be mentally tough. There's so many noise around you. There's so many things people are whispering. There's so many doubts, and you have to be okay with yourself. You have to be confident within yourself, and that's what I found during this pageant. And that's the thing that hopefully I can carry during my international competition.
As well, another thing about the pageant, right, that I feel like it's very important, not only for you as a candidate, but also for the audience, the ones watching you. It's the advocacy, right? What you present and what you defend as well. Can you tell us a little bit about yours? And so yours was about the reusing plastic waste, right? Being able to reincorporate it into society and not just like throw it away. When did you start paying attention to this issue?
There was a point in my life where I just wanted to do good to everything around me. And that's when I started segregating my own waste, figuring out how to reduce it as much as possible.
Mhm.
So when I was segregating from paper, plastic, and everything around, I saw the amount of plastic waste that a single person like me was creating in
Yeah.
a month. And I told myself, okay, so this is me. And then you times this up with the amount of people in the world. I'm like, that's crazy. And then you times about how many years it's been going on. And then I said, this is somebody needs to do something about this.
Yeah.
And then I saw that this is not something that is tackled within the Philippines properly. We want a circular economy. So that's why I started advocating not for single use, because a lot of people talk about that, but how about the current plastic in circulation? How do we deal with that? How can we move forward? And then I also had the also problem was how can we take care of the environment and not degrade economically speaking?
Yeah.
And that's why my solution is to help with the environment and the economy. It could provide people with jobs. It also provides people with furniture. It's just a well-rounded solution for everything that we have.
Amazing. I love that. Honestly, it's such a creative solution when it comes to this issue that is affecting not only the Philippines, but this is like on a global scale. And that's
Yeah.
why when I saw you winning, I knew already that this is something that you're going to be able to defend on an international scale. Because some of the challenges, in my opinion, of a pageant is that very often when you have like a very local advocacy, if you get the title, then you have to find a way to adapt your advocacy to an international stage and make sure that everyone gets it, because if the reference is local or national, everyone else will not necessarily get it. But yours
Yeah.
is something that is like an international language. Like we've all heard of this. We know that this is happening and that it's a major issue. And I know just talking to you and getting, your vibe, and I know that you will be able to defend this very, very well and reach people out there, which is the final objective of it all.
That's the goal. Hopefully people listen.
Yes, they better do listen. So what I've noticed as well, is that sometimes talking about this issue, especially when you present the consequences and the side effects to the environment, a lot of people are willing to listen, and a lot of people are willing to help, but they don't know where to start. In your opinion, what will be like an easy way to, like, an easy introduction to maybe reducing plastic waste and like reusing it rather than just throwing it outside?
The simplest way, and this is what I started doing, don't get overwhelmed. Take baby steps. You don't have to be perfect when it comes to taking care of the environment, but you need to be trying. We don't need a million people doing zero waste perfectly and then stopping at some point. We need them to gradually get there slowly and educating themselves and other people around them. So start with maybe twice a month, replacing what you traditionally use, like shampoo, plastic shampoo bottles. Use shampoo bars. If you have a certain deodorant, buy natural deodorant, bamboo toothbrushes, hair brushes. Do you just find eco or sustainable replacement for those products? And that would go a long way. It really will. So you can start there, and then gradually, as you get more and more passionate, the more you understand what's going on, the more you'll adjust and adapt.
That's amazing. Those are very simple steps, but when you think about it, they have like a big, big impact.
Yeah.
And listening you, like, just looking at you explaining to me this, it makes me think, when you are in the position of a winner, you are not only a beauty queen, but you're also kind of like a teacher, like you're an educator. You have to show people and put the information out there, make sure that they understand it, that they assimilate the information. In your opinion, and this can be like a very general answer because it might be different for everyone, but what is your biggest responsibility as a title holder?
Honestly, I came into pageantry not because of the beauty and the glam. I mean, I do modeling. That's my daily habit. This is my job. It's my profession. I
Yes.
joined pageantry because it's the humanitarianism in it. It
Mhm.
is the helping of people. It is the fact that you are supposed to be a leader. You're a leader that people look up to. That's
Yeah.
why it's a beauty with a cause. You have something that you're fighting for, you want to talk about. And that's what I see with beauty queens. That's what their role is. And that's why I get hurt. And I hope every single judge who judges beauty queens don't look at just the face, but mainly at the heart and what they've gone through for their people.
Oh, I love that. Amazing. And you put that so well. I feel like you really summarize the essence of it. Like I was saying, sometimes it might be like slightly different from one person to another. Like some people join for different reasons, a pageant. But what you said is just embodies precisely how I feel about it. So very good.
Perfect. We're on the same
We're on
page.
the same page, girl. Telepathy. So I believe that one of the most important aspects of a pageant, sometimes we don't talk about it enough. It's your mental health. This is something that you promote through social media and more precisely through your YouTube channel as well. How are you taking care of yourself and making sure that you're always at your 100% mentally?
You can't be 100% mentally all the time. There are moments in life where life is going to punch you in the face and then you have to get up.
Yeah.
But the main thing is you don't let that emotion consume you. Understand why it's there and separate it from yourself. This is anger. Why is anger here? It's because I feel resentment, I feel betrayal. So if you separate it, then you understand and you can go with your day. So that's why I always advocate. And I'm going to have my first class this week for meditation. I'm going to be a meditation instructor,
Wow.
which what that does is teach you how to separate your emotion from the current situation right now. So when you wake up in the morning, you meditate and you ask yourself, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling angry? So that dictates what you need to understand during the day.
Yes.
So to everybody here, just know that I know you feel stuff. Just don't ride the feeling. Just let it pass.
Exactly. Especially in pageantry, we talk about the physical aspect of it, like being ready physically and, being toned and this and that. But sometimes we forget about mental health. It's so important because it's everything like your mindset, how you're going to present yourself, how confident you're going to feel like. And it's something that the audience, we can see. Although like you cannot see your state of mind, it shows through your body language, through how you behave. So definitely something that we should talk a little bit more in pageantry. And I'm glad to see that you're also putting this out there on your platforms.
The funny thing is a lot of people tend to think it's more about physical and beauty and everything like that, and
Yeah,
also advocacy. But during the entire pageant, the number one thing is mental. It really is.
yeah.
It's a mental game. You're constantly challenged by your candidates. You're always being poked at. You're always being judged. So if you don't have a good mental space, then it's going to be a difficult journey. That's why all the winners who won pageants, who done really well, honestly, give yourself a round of applause. That was a mental challenge. You can be in saw. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
They've been through it all. They've done it all. During the final answer to your Q&A section, you stress the importance of social media, something that you have been using, precisely for this, aspects of mental health and all of that. But how do you plan to use your platform as a Miss Philippines Earth reigning queen? Because now it's like
Actually, I have a lot of plans without even spoiling it. Damn
oh,
it, you're
oh,
making me
oh,
spoil
oh.
now. I want to open a YouTube channel so that I can educate people and show them what's happening right now.
Yeah,
Hopefully, interviewing people kind of like you, but more on the environment and just
yeah.
showing people what it's about, especially in the Philippines, what's going on around here. So that's something. I'm not going to tell you all the details, but that's it. So stay tuned.
I'm happy with the little exclusive. So, and I don't want to get you in trouble or anything, but I'm so happy with that, honestly. And it's such an amazing project. I believe that this is something that we don't talk about enough. And as a YouTuber myself, content creator, whatever, if I can help you in any way, shape, or form, girl, just send me a message and I'll be more than glad to support you on your project. Okay.
We like you a little too much now.
That's the goal. Yes. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what is yet to come. So the future. So earlier you mentioned that, there have been a few challenges during the competition, things that you learned about yourself, things that you had to work on. In your opinion, how are you going to work on these aspects and adapt it for the international pageant? That way you'll be ready for it.
Currently, I'm in the programming stage. It's more like programming myself to figure out how I'm going to plan the entirety of my pageant, how I want to show people, how I can represent the country the best way I can.
Mhm.
So I'm going to have to talk to a lot of people. I want to talk to the environmental head to see what they really need or how I can represent the Philippines. So there's still a lot of planning. I can't tell you everything in detail as
Yeah,
well as the last thing because I want a little bit of surprise.
understandable.
But there's a lot of things going on and I'm trying to be ready for it. It's big shoes to fill, but I'm kind of used to wearing big shoes anyways.
It's such a fun thing that you brought this up, the fact, because sometimes we think that once you get the title, that's it, like you're the winner, like you're the queen. But that's like the beginning of it. Like there's an entire process afterwards, not only preparing for the international pageant, but also, preparing for what you're going to do with the time that you are given to the title, right? Because it's a responsibility. It's not just looking pretty for
Oh
the
my God.
camera. It's like an entire job. What is it that you're most excited about Miss Earth 2021?
The most thing I'm excited is the things that I'll be learning along the way, the people I will be meeting. The reason I'm even on this is because I know that Miss Earth is a platform for change. And this is what I've been wanting for all this time now. So I'll be honest with you, I'm terrified. I'm completely petrified because I want to be a leader, but at the same time, sometimes I get a little self-conscious. Sometimes, you can't help it. There are negativity that come your way.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be the best way that I can because I'm not doing this for me, but for the entirety of the Philippines, because I know that we deserve better, especially when it comes to the environment.
Yes, of course. But honestly, don't stress it too much. Just
Yeah.
enjoy the journey, have fun. Talking to you, and you're such a natural. You're so smart. You have such um, good communication skills, and you are beautiful as well. I'm not worried about the Philippines, honestly. Honestly. So, and this is
Seems
not
like you
because I
like the
have you with
Philippines
me here. Huh?
because I see a lot of people you interview from the Philippines. I feel like kind of like the
Yeah,
Philippines.
exactly. Honestly, no, I'm not worried. You got what it takes. So just make sure that you enjoy the experience and the journey, because that's sometimes what people forget. And it shows. When you're not having fun, girl, we're not having fun. But if you're enjoying yourself, it's just gonna be a ball for everyone.
That's a really lovely message. Thank you for the reminder. I kind of needed that. It's just a lot, it becomes a lot of pressure at some point. You want to make the country proud, and you forget that this is a moment that you have to smile and enjoy, because it's never going to happen again.
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime experience. So make the most out of it.
I love that. Thank you.
Not a problem. So now that you won the national crown, we mentioned earlier that sometimes you have to adapt your advocacy a little bit for the international stage. Do you feel like you still have to tweak it a little bit or like work on certain things, or do you feel ready to present your advocacy to the world?
At the end of the day, you always look at the things that are happening, and you know that you can always have refinement. You can always be better. If this is your optimal, there's always going to be a new optimal. There's always going to be the new best version.
Mhm.
So yes, I still want to work on my advocacy, not just my advocacy, but every single thing. I just want to refine myself so that I could be the best me for the country.
We were having this conversation in the beginning of the interview. Now you get to represent the Philippines internationally. Like you become the image who represents the country on the Miss Earth pageant. But like you were saying, sometimes people might give you a little bit of pushback because you are half Filipina. And this is something that has been brought up, not necessarily about you, but like in other pageants, sometimes they talk about having certain girls because they come from a mixed background. What is your message if someone was to confront you and tell you, oh, you're only half Filipina? How would you approach that conversation?
First of all, I'm half Filipina, but my heart is full Filipina.
Ah.
Second of all, the Philippines is a melting pot. We are a mix of several nationalities. So we are not technically Filipino. We're a mix of a lot of different things. So you are not fully Filipino. You're a mix of Spanish, Chinese, a lot of different things. So yeah, you need to understand that we are all mixes, and you shouldn't put us down, because just like you, I have the same heart as you. I love my country the same as you. Why does that make me any different? Is it just because of the way I look? Is that just it? Just know that I have so much love, and it's not anything negative, but I just want to represent the best way I can. And I'm sorry, it's not my fault. I was born half.
Yeah, I absolutely love your answer because I've asked this question to other queens, and sometimes they go with like the very, like pageant answer. Well, but you were like straight to the point, like, well, my heart is Filipino, so
What
Latin
you
says
gonna
it well.
do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have it or you don't, and you definitely have it. So no one can take that away from you. It's not about a percentage, it's about how you feel inside and, you know, what you do for the country as well. Because sometimes you have people who are like 100% born and raised in the Philippines, and they're not doing like even as half of what you're doing for the country. So it's really a matter of how you feel inside, but also of behaviors. What would it mean for you if you were given the chance to win, to become the reigning queen of Miss Earth 2021?
Oh my God. Like, I'm getting sweaty palms just from this question. I feel like I would have the power to do a lot of things. And even thinking about it gets me really excited. I feel like I could find solutions where it's needed. I feel like I could be a great help. And it's something that I'm very much passionate about. So I'm ready to be a vessel for the people, be a vessel for the voices, for the things that need to be heard, for the
Yes.
things that truly matter. Because the reason why Miss Earth is deep to my heart is because it's really relevant. This is something that not only you, not only the Philippines, not only Spain, but everybody around the world is going through. It's an environmental crisis that we need to unite together to solve. And that's why I love this pageant.
Is this year going to be like a virtual pageant? I think no, it's going to be a physical pageant, right?
We have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, in
I'll be
either scenario,
surprised as everybody else here.
yeah, exactly. A lot of surprises with these pageants lately, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, regardless of how they decide to proceed with the pageant, I believe that it's all about how you present yourself, what you bring to the table, whether it's on a physical environment or a virtual environment. you'll excel at it. And I know that you have what it takes. So girl, just once again, enjoy the journey, do the most that you can, put yourself out there and just create memories and it will be fine. I'm not worried about you.
Thank you. I can't wait to meet the other girls. Oh my goodness.
That's gonna
Like
be
I
so
was
exciting.
right? Yeah.
It'll be exciting. If you ever get to like a physical pageant, give a hug to Miss Cuba from me because Miss Earth is one of the very few pageants that Cuba actually is part of. So yeah.
Definitely. I'll not only give her a hug, I'll call you.
Oh, you're the sweetest. That would be so cool. So for the people out there who are looking up to you, who feel like you're a role model, like that, see things in you that they would like to see on themselves, what would you tell them? Like, how can they be in a similar position in a few years?
It's funny. If there are little girls out there who are looking up to me, I was that little girl too. I asked myself at a young age, what can a little girl like me do? And then after how many years of trying and being afraid of fear itself, I conquered that and I am that little girl and I am this right now. And that could be you. You just need to find the strength within yourself and understand it's just a journey. Don't be afraid of failure because it's all just learning. You're never gonna know everything, but you're gonna fail so that you could know.
Exactly. It's all like a learning experience. And this is actually like a very good transition for my very last question that I have prepared for you, because I actually am going to quote you. So bear with me with my reading skills right here. So you once said, not knowing something doesn't degrade your intelligence. No one knows everything, but not being afraid of making mistakes is important. The wanting of willingness to learn is true intelligence, in my opinion. Never be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are the greatest teachers that life can give. What have you learned from your mistakes, and how have they changed the person that you are today?
It was funny because the last answer I gave you was actually fairly similar to that. Obviously, I truly live by that because I used to be afraid of making mistakes. I used to be overthinking constantly, saying that, I'm stupid because I never understood how to know this. Or when somebody asks me a question that I don't know, I'm like, oh no, why don't I know this? I'm not a person who was really good at school when I was younger. And it's something that I regret. And that was because I was constantly afraid of making mistakes. And then now, who I am today is make 100 mistakes a month, make a mistake every single day. Because what that does is just make you stronger, just have resilience within yourself. And that's why I constantly say, don't be afraid, but only just try. Just try. And if you fail, that's okay because you learn.
Oh, I love that. Girl, that was a mic drop right there. She's a queen for the people. Yes. Oh, I love it. Honestly, this has been like such an uplifting conversation, in my opinion, because of course I was following your journey during the pageant, the Miss Philippines Earth pageant, but just getting to sit with you and just chat, getting to know you also on a more of a personal level, it's been such a pleasure as well. And like I was telling you, I'm not worried about you. I know that you have what it takes. You have the potential, the substance, the beauty, all of it, you name it, and you will do great things with this platform. Before I let you go, is there something that you would like to tell the audience, the people watching us? How can they support you? What can they do to, help you on this journey? Just let us know.
Hi, everybody. So if you guys want to know more about my journey, I have a Facebook page called Miss Philippines Earth 2021 Naelah Alshorbaji. So you can stay tuned there. I'll be posting what's going to be happening, when the pageant's going to be, because I don't know it yet. So if you want to know more about it, follow that. Or you could follow my Instagram. My handle is this is just a pun. This is just a joke. My handle is Nana You Business because my name is Nana. And it's spelled NANAYOW business.
I was today's years old when I realized that.
Yes, it's none of your business now,
God, that's hilarious.
So
Oh,
yeah, and as an earthling, an earth queen, I hope you guys research more about the environment. If you would like to know more, stay tuned because I'm gonna have a YouTube channel to educate you guys. And just try a little bit. Make sure that you want to be a part of the solution and not the pollution.
yes. I love that. Such a beautiful answer. And once again, thank you so much for doing this, for taking the time to talk to me. And if I can personally support you in any way, shape, or form, whether it's through your journey on the pageant, whether it's with your upcoming projects, anything, girl, I'm just one message away. So just, feel free anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you've been amazing.
Your last name is Portales, and this is like you should have called this the Louis Portal because I feel like I'm like with you right now. I
Yes.
love it.
I'm gonna, I'm taking notes. Don't worry.
From none of your business to
None of
Louis
your
Portal.
business. That's hilarious. I love that. And well, for everyone watching us who stayed with us until the end of the interview, thank you so much for your time as well. And I hope that everyone is taking care of themselves. Be responsible out there. And I will see you very, very soon with another episode of Extraordinary Talks. Thank you for joining us. Kisses. Mwah. Love you, Naelah. You take care, my dear.
That's it. Take care.